So we all need guidelines in our lives, things to live by. And I've been looking recently at the Ten Commandments. And although it was a great list, and it served people well in the time that it was created. I think we really need to update our commandments now for the new 21st century era. I mean, there's no mention of computers, Microsoft, Apple. There's no mention of cars. There's no mention of any of that in the original Ten Commandments, and nothing that alludes to them. And it's a shocking state of affairs. So I did some real long, hard soul searching, and I came up with the new Ten Commandments. Look at that. It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? The new Ten Commandments. So let's go through them, shall we, together? Number one, thou shalt not be a dick. This is the simplest commandment out of the 10 new commandments to follow. Don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick. It's simple. If you get angry at someone because you're jealous of them, you're being a dick. If you constantly talk over people and you don't let them finish their sentences, I'm looking at you, Bill O'Reilly, then you're definitely being a dick. If you're being a dick just for the sake of being a dick, then you're absolutely being a dick. So just don't be a dick. Number two, thou shalt not steal other people's shit. Again, this is quite a simple one. It may sound familiar to you. Don't steal people's shit. It's not nice. Imagine how you would feel. You have something that you enjoy using, something that you perhaps even care about, something that may have sentimental value attached to it, and then someone comes along and steals it. I remember the only time I ever stole anything, I was a little boy, and I walked past the garden. I think I must have been about 4 or 5, and I remember picking up someone's Dukes of Hazzard toy, and I'd like to think I've got a vague memory of thinking that I put it back eventually, but I can't promise you that I did that, and I felt guilty. I took some kid's Dukes of Hazzard toy, the good old boys, and you imagine you're playing with your Dukes of Hazzard toy, and then you go round the back to get your 18 van, and you come back round, no more Dukes of Hazzard. It's gone. The toy is gone. So don't steal other people's shit, because it makes you feel terrible, and if everyone just stole everyone else's stuff, the world would be a mad place. It already is a mad place, but it would definitely be even madder. And I would like to say, once again, downloading or viewing films, music, things like that, that's not stealing people, because to steal something, I have to take something away from you. Having a copy of something is not stealing. Alright, number three, thou shalt not troll unless very, very, very funny. Everyone seems to think they're a troll now. People seem to even pride themselves on it. They pride themselves on being a troll. I'm trolling this guy. This is amazing. I'm trolling him. It's brilliant. I'm just getting on his case about everything. It's amazing. It's not amazing, and it's not amazing because necessarily that it's bad. It's just most trolls are not very funny. Now, I've been trolled before, and if it's someone who does it in a smart, funny way, then I'm more likely to laugh at it than anything else, and actually, have a little bit of respect for someone having a level of intelligence and an understanding of comedy, more than anything else. But most people that troll, you're not trolls, or if you are a troll, you're not a very good troll. So thou shalt not troll unless very, very funny. And sometimes some trolls can be in really bad taste. Come on. Alright, number four. Thou shalt not worship anyone or anything. This is important, people. Thou shalt not worship anyone or anything. Now that goes for a god or any form of deity, any sort of person, head of state, someone that you look up to. Don't worship them. And definitely this applies to any sort of flag or boundaries that we call countries. Don't worship anything. You can like things. Hey, like things. You like God? Brilliant. You like God, that's fantastic. But to worship something, to bend your knee to it for maybe no other reason than thinking that somehow you're going to get a reward, don't worship anyone or anything, because at the end of the day, people have different ideas, different opinions, and if you don't worship anything, then you're free to disagree with them, and that's healthy debate, people. Even if you're having a wee debate with God, you can debate with him tonight about Mike's new 10 Commandments. Okay, so thou shalt not worship anyone or anything. Lead, don't follow. Number 5, thou shalt not kill or be violent unless in self-defense. Preemptive strikes don't count, Mr. Bush. Topically, talking about the last president. Preemptive strikes don't count. Don't kill or be violent unless you're in immediate danger, unless it's self-defense. At the end of the day, people look at people and say, oh, they deserve a slap and all that. Well, that's just, a turn of phrase. That's all it is. We don't actually mean to go up to that person and give them a good, hard slap, even though with some people it would feel really, really good. Don't do it. It's just not. It's just destructive and negative to go around punching people. And I should know, I come from Glasgow, and if you don't know, Glasgow's a very violent city. I love Glasgow, but it is a very violent city, and most people that are violent, I tend to think, are just dicks. They violated number 1 here, thou shalt not be a dick, and they've also violated being violent. Of course, they don't know about the new 10 Commandments yet, but let's hope they do soon. So just treat people with respect. Don't go around being violent, and certainly don't go around killing people. Alright, number 6, because, by the way, life is sacred, even if you're not religious. Number 6, thou shalt cut thy neighbour some slack. Again, this is important. If you have a neighbour who has a family, and they have to get up every morning during the week to go to the work at 5 o'clock in the morning, they go and they do their job, maybe a job they don't even like, and then they come home to their family. They do it just to put food on the table and to provide for their family, and then all they get subjected to is your music blaring through the wall at 2 in the morning with you singing SingStar badly. Can you tell I've had personal experience with this? Cut your neighbour some slack, have a little respect, and say, do you know what, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, maybe I should respect other people's space, and I should say, okay, I'll keep this to a weekend night when most people aren't working the next day. And that does go for people as well. If you're sitting there and you hear your neighbour having a party on a Saturday night, cut them some slack too. It's a Saturday night, let them have some fun, even if it's a bit noisy. Just let them have some fun, Don't go around banging through the wall, knocking on the door, anything like that. I remember a guy came round to me on my 18th birthday, came round to my house because I had a party, and he came round and said, keep the noise down. It was 10 o'clock on a Saturday night, and I said, right, I'll try and keep the noise down. I said, but, I said, come on, man, it's my 18th. And the guy said, I don't care, I've got work in the morning. Okay, he had work in the morning on a Sunday. I had no way of knowing that. But at the end of the day, still, cut people some slack. It goes both ways, is what I'm saying. And this applies to community as well. Just be respectful and be nice and nurturing and caring to people around you. It benefits us all. Don't be a stingy arse and don't be a dick. Alright, number 8. Thou shalt not judge. Oh no, a minute. I've skipped one. I should make 11 commandments. The 11th one should be thou shalt learn to count. Number 7, thou shalt not take thyself too seriously. Again, this is important. Don't take yourself too seriously because no one else does. Laugh at yourself. It's the best way, and it's also the best way to detract people from attacking you as well. Don't take yourself too seriously. I see these people that get so into themselves that they get so defensive when anyone criticises them. They get so argumentative with people over things because they think, right on, I'm the leader. I know I said lead, don't follow earlier on, but you have to have a bit of a compromise. Don't take yourself so seriously that you then become a dick. Number 1, this could be called the new 1 commandment, couldn't it? Just don't be a dick. Don't take yourself too seriously. No one else does. And people that tend to take themselves too seriously eventually become, quite extreme in their views, and we don't like extremism. All right, now I can do number 8. Thou shalt not judge people for being people. Let's say you're a president of the United States of America. I don't know. Let's say your initials are BC, and you cheat on your wife. Now, everybody can be an uproar about this, but does it really affect the way that you run your office? Does it really affect you as a politician? At the end of the day, adultery is not a nice thing, but you don't know the background to that. You don't know what the home life is like. Not that I'm excusing it, but you don't know what the home life is like. You don't know what all the background to it is. And of course, you can then have a follow-up president who invades countries illegally and murders tens of thousands of innocent civilians. And yet he gets a golden handshake. It's just the way it is, isn't it? I mean, John F. Kennedy was killed, Ronald Reagan was wounded. And that's the way life is, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so, not that I'm advocating killing, because as we know from number 5, don't kill, it's bad. Alright, so don't judge people for being people, is what I'm saying. Sometimes people will be a little bit petty, sometimes people will do shit things, but if they're not really, really terrible, just remember, don't go on your high horse and take yourself too seriously, because everyone is capable of having a little bit of human weakness. I'm not saying you should excuse it, but maybe you should understand it more. Alright, number 9, again, counting problems. Thou shalt not blame others for shit that's your fault. Don't blame others for stuff that's your fault. People, I'm as liberal as they come about certain things, about rehabilitation, about, looking after one another, but if you're someone who goes and stabs someone, don't then turn around and say, oh, I've got, I was abused, I have a bad or difficult background, I came from a poor background. There are plenty of people that have terrible backgrounds in terms of, the quality of their life. Maybe they were abused, maybe they come from a very poor, deprived background, and they don't go around doing shit, but they tend to blame, they don't tend to, but some people do tend to blame other people for, you might have someone who's rich who then says, well, my parents were cold and distant towards me, so that really excuses me for finding the nearest tallest building and just shooting people from it. Don't blame other people for stuff that's your fault. I can tell you right now, I've failed at a great many things in my life. I should have a degree in failing, and any failure I've had, my fault, no one else's. Don't blame anyone else. Okay, number 10. Thou shalt not be a racist, homophobic, or bigoted pig. That one's kind of self-explanatory. Alright, so this is the new 10 Commandments. Take them with you and learn them well. Or make up your own 10 Commandments. That's what I'd like to hear. What are your 10 Commandments? But these are the new ones, because the old ones needed updated, etc. Although I just realised I didn't mention computers or cars in this either. I might need to do a rewrite.